Good evening and welcome to VWDRC TV. We're a week late because the communists in California locked me out last week. How rude of them. So apologies for posting that up. Literally, I posted to say we were going to go live last week, and I think about 2 minutes later I received a 4-day ban. So thank you very much, Facebook, for that. But it did give us a good week to grab another member of the VWDRC to come and catch and join us in the conversation. I had hoped to put a new banner on the back so you weren't going to see his beautiful curtains yet again, but well, sod it. We got what we're given. So, like I said in the video I did earlier, I am running solo this week. Paul can't make it, so please bear with me. Obviously, I've got to press all the buttons and talk to you guys as we're going through. First of all, of course, if you like the new overlay, so we started off, try and get some of the new cars in there. As it said in the opener, please make sure you do like it and just get a share for me. Share it to your personal Facebook pages, share it to your racing pages as we try and keep the conversation of VWDRC going every other week. Again, if once we get to the end of the video, if you think that you want to come on and join us with this live video, and let us know in the comments if you want to come in or if there's someone you specifically want us to see. It doesn't even have to be current races. It could be races from past, maybe races in the present. We'll have them all on. There's only so many people we can squeeze in every other week, but obviously we haven't decided yet whether, because we lost last weekend, we're doing this weekend a week late. We might even do one again next week. We'll see how it goes and see if we get someone lined up that's tasty enough, and essentially we'll go live again. So of course it is the final day of January. So if you are one of the very few people that has still not renewed their 2021 2021 memberships, please do that before midnight tonight. Otherwise I have to go on to Facebook to the group. I have to block you on the group, and then every time I try and unblock you, it's a pain in the bum. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So you might be in a week's time saying, I've joined up, but I've not got access. And essentially I've gone, well, I've clicked it and I can't do anything else. So I just have to wait for Facebook. So please, do renew your memberships. It's really appreciated. And all the money goes into coffers. And we have a lot of members this year. We've got more, I think, we're already surpassed last year's membership. As you can imagine, there's lots of new people in there. So welcome to all the new people that have been joining. I don't know if you've been following VWDRC on our YouTube channel, VWDRC TV. It could be our Facebook page or it could be our Instagram page. Now, next week we've signed up to a Rumble account as well, which is another kind of video sharing platform as well. So we'll be sharing this onto there as well. Dave Crowhurst's daughter threatened putting us on TikTok. I refused to go on TikTok because I just don't want to go on it. So, but she did say she wanted to go on. So good evening to all, Martin, Ethan, Matt, Rachel, even the wife, even the COVID queen upstairs who was in the bedroom is tuned in. So hopefully you're all doing well. Now, like I said, I'm on my own, so we'll do the usual stuff because I have to pretend I know a lot of people that are watching this are going to be our regular members, but you never know. Hopefully, if you keep hitting that share button and you keep sharing all of these videos, someone who is not a VWDRC member might just tune in and go, do you know what, I'm just going to watch it and learn something about a couple of the races that they have, and you never know, they might start following us a little bit more. So if you're not a member, then you may not know our dates, but for this year, this is our calendar for this year. 6 rounds of VWDRC Championship racing, the bracket racing, 3 rounds of VWDRC Heads Up, and then we have our pre-season training day on the 18th of March and VWDRC drag days on the 9th and 10th of April. Thank you very much to everyone that has entered into pre-season training, because that is doing pretty fine at the moment. Just £75 will get you signed up for pre-season training. We have ideally what we'll do is we'll hit 75 races that will come along to the day. It is open to 100 people, but we will, we'll see how it goes. We're already at 32 people entered. We're a good month and a half away. I've got 10 people who are on my backup list. So that basically means that they are not VWDRC members, but they want to come and race on our pre-season training day. So essentially we've got some Pro ET races, there's a Street Eliminator racer, there's a couple of the guys that would normally do the Yam Yam racing days, and obviously because Scott at the moment has been unable to get a date nailed down, obviously he's been promoting our day. So if you're a VWDRC member and you've not got your name down by the 18th of February, at that point we will be opening up the remaining spots to anyone else, be them a VWDRC member or not. So obviously get yourself booked in if you're planning on doing that, and yeah, we'll be doing that. Last night I got to editing. Santa Pod Raceway put a lot of time and effort into their posters, and then I just go and rip them and make them our own. And I'm quite proud of that, actually. Apart from looking at the bottom of Grant's car, it looks like there's a little cloud underneath, but in fact, that's just a little bit of Photoshop magic. But other than that, I think that's come out pretty damn well. Always try and change up the cars each time and get something different on there. So some cars that haven't been on posters as of yet, and hopefully, if I get you on a poster, it kind of encourages you to enter that round, because you're like, I'm a poster boy now. So hopefully you like that. Now, obviously, when we're talking about 2022 prize, it is the £20,000 year for the VWDRC. It is our 35th anniversary, and we are going big. We have accrued quite a bit of money over the past 2 years with COVID, and basically we're a non-profit club, so the money's not for us, it is to be given away. So we are doing a mega prize this year. As you can see there, champion takes home £2,000, runner up 1,000, third place takes 500, fourth and fifth take 250. That is on top of your SPRC entries for the following year. So if you add that up, again, that's worth about another £1,000 if you are the champion. And then we've added a little prize onto our VWDRC Heads Up class. The champion will get to spend £500 with one of our sponsors. That could be any one of the sponsors, not just the 8 headline sponsors that you have on there. And again, thank you very much, of course, to our headline sponsors. I shall read them out as usual. GP Turbo, CG Motorsports, Performance Clutch Specialist, Arctic Performance, Pro Race Engineering, The Car Kitchen, White Label Consulting and Managed Services, Darkside Developments, and Hangar 30. And then, of course, there are all of our associate sponsors: European Front Wheel Drive, Speed Shop Malta, Renegade Racing, Fuels, Track Ready, Harvey Property Developments, BJ Bates Electrical, WRP Paint and Restoration, BJ Speed Shop, EST Performance, and maybe a few more that, we might even get to announce today. Maybe. Of course, we're going on. We've got drag days. Let's see one of the comments we got on there. Lee Cordery says, yes, training day and drag days all booked up. Dave Henderson waving. He is definitely down for the pre-season trend. I am looking forward to seeing your new car, sir, and definitely want to get you onto this live stream as well, because that's going to be an exciting car. That's another car. I mean, your last car was quick, so the new one is going to be even quicker. And of course, when we're talking about drag days, that is our own private day in June on the 9th and 10th. If you go to the website, you can get yourself booked in now. Please it really is going to help us if you can get your entries in as early as possible. Santapod will always say to you, and basically the main reason is I've got features lined up for Performance VW, for Volksworld, and for a very exciting magazine that the VWDRC are going to be producing. If you put your entry in, then I can say that you're going, and I can use your photo of your car in the promotional stuff. As much as I've got lots of photos that I can use, I really want to use the cars that are currently entered, that I know are entered, and get them promoting out there. And obviously, once we start getting more cars entered in the classes, don't forget there are only 40 people that are entered into each class. So if you're looking at, say, put the prizes up there, if you're looking at VWDRC Heads Up, prize winner, £2,000. Now, a lot of you probably sitting at home might be going, do you know what, I've got an 11-second car. I might go in for the Index 12 class because I've got no chance winning against Ben Mace's Altered that we saw last week. Or maybe you're saying my Dragster. Well, the thing is, yes, I have entered, but if 39 other racers that had 11-second cars entered this evening into VWDRC Heads Up, that is what's in that class. So literally, as soon as the entries are gone, that is gone. No one will get any preferential treatment. And basically, do you know what? I've got a 9-second car, but I didn't get a chance to enter. I'd literally have to go, bracket class is not sold out yet. You can go to that class. Unfortunately, there will be no swapping unless someone obviously drops out for a good reason. Then we'll offer it out to someone else. But if people were to literally book up all the slots, then that's all the slots gone. Yeah, right. Time to get on with the show, really, isn't it? We've got Charlie Roberts and we have got Laurence Clark on the show this evening. Like I said, we're basically trying to produce this show to not to aim it at the VWDRC members, although some of the VWDRC members will automatically already know the racers that will be coming onto the show. There's going to be new people who have joined the club. Maybe you've posted on the private group and said hello. This is your chance to get to know some of our racers. So we'll be starting off. I'll add him into the group because Charlie's in the background. Laurence is there already waiting in the green room, but we're going to have a little quick chat with Charlie to start off with and basically get to know Charlie and get to know his car. Oh, we're on the little private one. There you go. Evening, Charlie. How you doing?
Evening. I'm good. Thank you. Yourself?
Not bad. Not bad. That beard is looking mighty fine.
Yeah, it's getting there, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. Now, are you excited to get this season underway? Because obviously last season you were crewing for Goose. So the role has reversed this year, is it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so Goose has been a legend, come and give us a hand with a car to get us ready for the season. Unfortunately, I'm not there yet, but we've still got time, so it's going to get ready. I know by hell or high water, we will make it there and be there at some point. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. It's going to be very different going back to racing again, obviously having a year out. Crewing for Goose was great, and it was great fun, a great season. Obviously coming runner-up in pro, obviously proves we work well as a team, so hopefully we can try and replicate that again, just the other way around. If we can, that'd be wonderful.
That's it. But crewing's a lot of walking, isn't it? Yeah,
a lot of walking. I mean, being he's an electrical engineer, he managed to wizard up something with some scooter by the middle of the season, and I had a little scooter to whiz around on, which saved me a lot on my steps. But yeah, there's a lot of walking, there's a lot of checking tyres, doing this, doing that, running here, and learning the routine with the car to the point where I know Goose is soon to be old A3, as well as I know my car.
Yeah,
nowadays, bearing in mind we had gearboxes that we were swapping in the pits quite a bit. We got quite hands on and quite well known with that car after a little while. So
that's it. I'm pretty sure Goose is not signing up for gearbox changes.
No. To be fair though,
although actually you are up in the power, so you never know.
Well, yeah, who knows? And mine, Zach and Goose helped me when we had to take the gearbox off to do a clutch swap. We managed to do it in situ in mine at Santapod before. So it's not as difficult as it seems to be for the A3, because it was a lot of faffing around, but you can be done in situ, bearing in mind it's quite a small engine bay. So
saying that, looking at the photo there, obviously that's kind of an updated photo, which we'll get into in a minute. But yeah, just looking there, admittedly, I was thinking obviously the V5 is quite a big engine for that car. What kind of made you go for that engine?
Just really, we were quite drunk. Me, Zach,
works.
Goose were drunk at, I think it was VW Action, and it just sounded like a good idea. And by Monday, it still sounded like a good idea. And I'd ordered an engine and gearbox and ECU and everything for about £200 off of eBay, unknown mileage. And we didn't measure anything. We just got to work, and within a weekend, we managed to get it hung. And that's where it's all snowballed from there, really. It just sounded like a good idea. I heard people were doing the 1.8T swaps, and I was like, well, I'd like to be a little different. And I was thinking, obviously, Goose having the VR6, I was thinking I'd like to do that. But he was like, well, why don't you do a V5? Because it's just a VR6 but smaller. And it turned out to work perfectly in that it fits in there quite well, snug, but it does fit in there as such. So, yeah.
Snug's not the word. It looks so tight, but it looks so right. It looks almost standard when you actually got the car complete.
Yeah,
done a great job. Looking back here, obviously this was what 20. Is this 29? Did you do COVID year?
And yes, I did COVID year. That's when.
So that's the COVID year, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 2020.
Actually, COVID actually helped me because I would never have made it to the start of the season, but because it got delayed back a little bit and we did the COVID Cup, I actually managed to get it ready by the drag days. So that did me a little bit of a favour.
Do you find that the up gets quite a lot of attention in the pits?
Yeah, at VW shows, yes, a lot of people come over just because it's not the done thing. Like it's one of the. I know there are other people doing it, but there's not as many of them around. And although it's not a new car anymore, it's like coming up for like 15 years old. It's still quite a modern car for what's normally done. So yeah, it's. It gets a bit of a few looks every now and then. People come over and go, well, what's this? And then more so on the VW shows because people can walk over and appreciate it, whereas other ones with the racers, obviously they're not as interested. They want to see the big dragsters and the pro mods, which I totally understand.
Don't worry, they all scroll past the dragster, and it's only to the very last second you hear, that's not a V8, what is it?
Yeah,
but until then they're just dragster, isn't it?
That's one good thing about crewing. Me seeing that when obviously being around the dragster and everything was being able to walk about whilst Goose is in the zone in the car, being able to walk freely, and all the V8 boys in Pro ET looking over, going, "What is in the back of that thing?" Because that doesn't look anything like what we've got.
No, that's it. Sambo says, let's be honest, a VR5 is just a true VR6.
Yeah. Well, as a lot of the 1.8T boys do say, all VR6s are just waiting to be V5 one day. So
no, that's it. I've been victim to that already, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Now, obviously,
fives left the chat.
Yeah, you've had the year off, and you started squeezing stuff in. So when I say squeezing, that is proper. That's where it lives now. That turbo.
Yeah. So at the moment, I've got that front panel actually unbolts out, so it's quite handy. Okay. So I've actually got a bit of access to get my hands behind there. But when the bonnet is shut and it's racing, that is the scuttle panel, and that is the gap I'm working with. So yeah, it's all quite tight, as you can imagine. But yeah, I mean, I work in metal fabrication. I operate a water jet plasma cutting machine. So things like the sign that's on the front of the charge cooler.
I love that.
Just buzz that out, because that charge cooler is actually going to have to be, the bumper's going to have to be chopped slightly. So that sign is actually going to be protruding out the front. So perfect. I'm going to, spray paint it black so it at least blends in a little bit. And then I'm sure you're going to highlight the V5 turbo bit. Of course, yeah. I've got to make sure I've polished it behind to a certain degree, not mirror finish, but polished it a bit, and then I'm going to make sure I paint the 5 red before I spray paint the rest of it black, so that it looks like a V5 badge. Is my thinking behind that. Just oversized like the rest of the car. Exactly, that's it. Yeah, just because you get a few people come past and say, "Oh, what engine's that?" and they don't really know. Whereas if it's written on the car in front of it, you can't really say what engine's that anymore. Well, I'm pretty sure you're going to go V5 turbo, and they're going to be like, "Oh, what? 5-cylinder, straight cylinder? No, VR5." Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Obviously, you've been busy doing that. You've done many other upgrades to the car to cope with the power. Yeah, so one thing that we found at the end of 2020 when we was racing in the COVID Cup, I managed my PB with nitrous of 12.72, and we noticed that the clutch was slipping because we looked back on a GoPro that we placed on my feet, and Zach and Adrian were saying to me, "You're still right. You're riding the clutch," and I was like, "Look, we'll put a GoPro by my feet, and I'll show you exactly how I do it." And we looked back on that footage, and it showed that my foot was like miles off of the pedal, and that the clutch was slipping the whole run. Yeah. The moment that we then fitted a VR6 uprated clutch and the VR6 flywheel, it then immediately started snapping drive shafts. And what we also found was that the subframe, where the dog bone mount was still using the stock dog bone mount, it wasn't really designed for that at all. So it wasn't strong enough. And secondly, it was not pushing at a dead straight angle. So it was pushing slightly off center. So when, I don't know if you were there, but there was a few of the VWDRC guys around, and the car stopped and I couldn't get the bonnet open, and I didn't understand why, but it's because the actual dog bone mount had moved the engine forward so close that it actually locked itself to the bonnet. So I had to like jiggle the engine around because of the tolerances we're working with, like 2 or 3 mil between it, to actually get the bonnet open in the first place. And then I was like, what's this gone? And then went back up for a run, didn't realize anything, and it just snapped drive shafts again because the drive shaft was at its full extension because the engine had so much movement to go. So what I've done is taken the up subframe and lower control arms off, and I've made them out of tubular at work, and yeah, basically just got it to the point now where you can shake my engine and the whole car will jiggle, but nothing else will. That engine does not move at all. There's literally no movement in it. So yeah.
Nice, that's going to be good. That's the only thing I didn't upload a photo of, typically. Mm-hmm. I noticed you did get some new drive shafts. Are those the ones that you ordered from Aldrius?
Yes, that's it. Aldrius Power supplied those for us, so they are
the Lithuanian Unbreakable, he claims. Yeah,
that's it. He did say to me, though, because I'm still using stock up hubs and brake and brakes and all that assembly, that the CVs will most likely be the weakest point now, which I was kind of aware of anyway. But
that's easy. That's much easier to replace. Yes, I think Goose will take that all day long.
Yeah, exactly. I'm more than happy to buy that 6 or 7 CVs and have them rather than keep snapping drive shafts. And so yeah,
that's it. And at least being an up, that hopefully they'll still be on the shelf. At the time when I was racing the Mark II, you struggled to get a Mark II CV at the point. And then I started ordering so many from All Vehicle Parts that they actually started stocking them on the shelves.
Oh, really?
They were like, "No, we've got them because of you now." And I was like, "It's always good." Anytime we broke them, it was perfectly fine. Like Jacob would use those, so it'd be like, "Yeah, broken. I know where we can get these. It's good, a good little stock."
Looking at them, they don't look too dissimilar to the Mark II Golf, actually, in similar sort of size. So they're a lot smaller than the Mark IV, and we were at a point where we was looking at it and going, "Should we change it all over to Mark IV?" But then I was like, then I've got to change the wheels, change brakes, change everything over. And at the moment I'm running 13-inch slicks, which would never fit over a Mark IV caliper, really. You'd have to do a lot of chopping and changing around. And I was like, well, I don't really want to do that if I can avoid it. So I was like, just put it at the CV's the weak point. I know it's the weak point. If it starts breaking, I'll then have to come up with some kind of plan from that. But we're not going for stupid power to start with. We literally just want to run wastegate power, wastegate pushed like 0.7 bar, and that should hopefully be somewhere between 300 to 400. We're thinking somewhere around that,
that'll do.
Double what we had before, and we'll definitely.
Okay, so that was going to be my next question. What sort of power were you running with just the nitrous?
Before it was running 200 brake, it was 198 brake on the dyno plus the 75 shot, so probably an estimate of maybe about 250 realistically. But yeah, so that was good enough for a 12.7 with a slipping clutch. So part of me wishes now, going back, and if I could do my time again, I could have actually just got it to be solid underneath and solid drive shafts and seen what it would have done NA, because I reckon it may have been a pro car, but turbo cooler, and I had to take a year out to do it, but it's going to be worth it.
That's it. But you had a good year out because you sported,
Oh yeah,
Adrian,
definitely.
and it was a good season. Also, I didn't see you in the photos this weekend. You didn't go to the dinner and dance. I take it.
No.
Don't worry.
I didn't. No.
It's generally
It's the
boring.
better
It's
one got to
boring
be
for
all
most of
dolled
it.
up. That's it. Yeah.
It's not going to be like our dinner and dance.
No, exactly. That's it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that this year. It's going to be good fun. I think it's going to be quite good fun. Cool. Obviously, so pre-season test day, you entered, or are you building for that?
I haven't yet. That is my target though.
That's your target.
Yeah, my friends are getting married the week before, and every time I
Nice.
see them, they keep telling me they're getting married on the Friday, exactly a week before, telling me how many weeks it is to that. And every time I think I've got one more week to build the car, and that terrifies
That's
me a
it.
little bit.
I like that. All right,
So,
looking in the
yeah.
comments. I forget I can do this. Look, Joshua Baldwin. You can also get Mark IV hubs with 256mm brakes on them that should clear some pretty minuscule wheels. There you go. Thank you
Okay,
very
that
much,
might be
Josh.
something to look into. Thank you very much.
That's it. Okay, Jacob Bailey also says, I run Mark IV outers on my 13s. It can be done fairly easily. See, that's what this is about. It's not only just having a chat with you, it gets the guys chatting in there, and it makes quite informative as well.
Yeah.
Joshua back as well said, as Carl said, a VR hub and a redrill, and they use much larger outer CV joints. So there are possibilities there. Now, so I'm assuming you'll do drag days. Hopefully you're going to be in for the season. Are you going to do pre-season tasting? You're going to do the season. Are you going to look at do drag days as well?
Yeah, most likely. Unless I have any issues in between, then yeah, I'll definitely be something on there. I'll probably look to book that nearer the time, as long as there's still tickets available. I kind of want to see what the car does, because it's an annoying one, because me and Goose have had this conversation when he's been round, as he goes, well, maybe you just dial it back a bit and run in Sportsman. And I'm like, well, I could do that. And then it solves the issue of, like, I've got to get cage sorted and everything else, and it takes another thing off the list.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it's going to do. This is the thing. We could put everything together and it runs a low 11, and I go, well, it's never going to be a Sportsman car, because it's just not. It's just too quick for it. Or we could put it.
There is a point where you go, I don't mind sandbagging, but that's too much sandbagging.
Yeah, exactly. And or it might be we put it together and it runs slower than what it did before, and I'm like, well, this was a waste of time. I could have just run a Sportsman again. But that's the thing that's really annoying for me, is that I know it's me that's doing the car and I haven't got it done yet, but I'd like to just know what it'll do first. But I know I've got to try and prepare everything ready. So I've been in talks with Simon Martin, who's made the downpipe and the tubular exhaust manifold for me, and he said he's happy to do a cage for me when I need to. So that's where I'm looking to get my roll cage sorted from.
If not, a quick plug, European front wheel driver doing a roll cage raffle. That was posted today. Paul Jackson is not allowed to enter. He is banned from all roll cage raffles.
That gives us all the chance.
Yeah, to give everyone else a chance. Well, the worst thing is, like, when we do like the roll cage and stuff like that, when you pull it out, I'm excited for someone to win it who's going to need a roll cage.
Yeah.
So when he got pulled out the first time, I was like, that's cool, because the cage in there needs replacing. When Rachel pulled his name out again this year, I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So obviously, but that's been dropped off now at Hangar 30, and he's basically getting the roll cage, and then he has got like the same value of a roll cage to spend with Hangar 30, so he's gone for like parachute
mount, a few things,
new intercooler, and also he's just like, yes, I was this is stuff I had to do, and now I'm getting it for free. Dave Henderson says, at what speed do you need a roll cage? Technically, I think on Santapod's run what you brung rules, it's like I want to say 150. I can't remember. Obviously, I think you're planning on doing heads up racing, at which point, obviously, heads up racing is run what you brung rules. I don't know how Santapod will work that, because we're actually racing. If you get to a point where you're going very quick, they might specifically say, excuse me. That'd be something we'd have to ask Santapod on that. But yes, right. Coming up to half an hour already. Laurence is sitting in the background as well. We're going to have a chat with him. Charlie, you're going to stay on the line anyway. Like I said, we'll be just spitting shit. So don't worry. If you want to join in,
Yeah,
just join in.
good.
But I'll ping Laurence into the group. Let me fiddle with these because now we've got 3. Look, look, there's so many new settings every week. There's something new to play with. We don't want it all, mate. There we go. Just put the 3 on there. Obviously, we would have normally had Pirate here, but he's decided to go do something with his dog. And I was like, well, and he said, well, to be honest, it was your fault because I wasn't there last weekend. So, fair enough. Evening, Laurence. How you doing?
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, not too bad at all. Thank you very much. Quite happy. So, yeah,
that's it. I like it though. I've got some crappy curtains. Charlie's just got the lamps and the back door in the way, and you've specifically gone.
No, that's me.
I got a trophy.
That's me.
Your granddaughter.
I did.
And a trophy
up there on the side of the because I thought they need to be on show. Really.
That's it. I feel left out. 1 minute. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah. Don't worry. I've got loads to choose from. Don't worry. But what I'll do is.
Goose, thanks very much for all your information, all your help last year as well.
Yeah, that's right, mate. That's what we do, didn't we?
I spent a lot of time. I like all that big and shiny, isn't it? What's that?
This is Jacob's trophy. This is.
I'll just bring that down. That's all I've got.
I'm keeping this ransom till Jacob delivers my concrete that he got from Pro Race. No, basically we got to the night before the AGM, and I was sitting there and I was like, "There's something missing," and then I was like, "Heads up trophy." When I picked him up, I looked at it and I was like, "There was a big trophy," and I was like, "I'm sure." And then I literally looked on the years, the 2019, which was Sanchez and Brown, and I saw in the photo when I looked at it, obviously on the side here, it's got the extra labels, so it was meant to be Pass Around Cup, and I was like, oh no! Well, obviously we couldn't get it back in time, so we give him a little one, and then this will be in his toilet in a couple of weeks' time. Don't worry, Jacob, you will have this. Look, it's even dusty, so I'll clean it up for you. Don't you worry. Like, he's in the guy's eye. But anyway, Laurence.
Yes.
Obviously, you've been racing with the VWDRC since COVID year. You picked up the VR6 Beetle. Obviously, I had a part in that, but kind of, did you see that and think I'll have a bit of that, or was it just something you thought you'd pick up?
Yeah, no. How
did it come about?
I'd been crewing for my brother, and we've been coming and doing just invite stuff, and just basically you're. Just you run what you brung, and he's got an air-cooled rail, basically, and was crewing for him. And just the more and more I kind of did that and did the walking and all the rest of it, I thought it's got to be a good idea to get your own car here and do a bit of driving about and get everyone else to walk. So obviously I kind of asked about, and then it was mentioned obviously that the Beetle was up for sale, by which point it had passed to somebody else and you can have it. So I thought ideal car to grab hold of, and it was up and running, nice and easy. So my son actually bought it for my 50th birthday.
Nice.
And we were going to run it together, and then basically decided to keep his Golf, or both as he's got, and he's going to run that. And I've obviously been running the Beetle since COVID. Of which I did a couple of meetings during the COVID year, and just loved it. Loved everything about it. The whole group, the whole everything, the ethos, the way everyone helps each other, just the whole bit. I mean, the first time out, I broke a throttle cable and kind of sat there scratching my head, thinking, well, I haven't got a spare one of them. And then Jay and Guy Foley came along and said, I've got one of them. I'll go and get that for you. So they disappeared off, bless them. And they came back, throttle cable. We pieced it together, made it work. And it just went from there, really. Did a few meetings and absolutely loved it and said, yeah, that's what I want to do. Want to get into it and hopefully get somewhere doing it. So, yeah.
Well, you certainly got somewhere. You took home one of the main trophies.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. To have won that trophy, because obviously, it's a commemorative trophy after someone who meant a lot to the club. And I've since found that out speaking to some of the guys, how much it actually meant to some of the people in the club and the club itself. So yeah, that's really nice, a really nice feeling to actually win that, and especially in the first full season. So
That's it. Well, it's definitely something we're trying to work on as a club, especially this year being the 35th anniversary. Is we're trying to bring. Obviously, we mentioned at the AGM that we were bringing in the Hall of Fame, because we had the lifetime members, which generally went to someone who was kind of leaving the club. So you give them this lifetime membership, and then like a year later they disappeared, and then all of a sudden it's like people looking, who's this lifetime member? And you're like, oh, they raced a few years ago, and like, oh, okay. Whereas if we got the Hall of Fame, we'll be able to have their photo up, a little bit of information about them. Hopefully, the Hall of Fame is not going to be something that we'll give away once every 5 years, once every 10 years. The aim is that we'll probably be adding people in there quite regularly. To start off with, obviously we're gonna put the 5 lifetime memberships in there anyway, and then the plan is at the AGM is we're going to add some more in for this year. So like at the dinner and dance this year, there's going to be a whole bumper of people that are going to be added, and then from then on, hopefully we'll keep adding people in to generally the Hall of Fame, so people get to know a lot of these racers and people who have been and gone. And then one of the plans for this year is to do a really nice magazine for the 35th anniversary. Well, maybe not even for the 35th, but hopefully to keep it going. And we're going to put a magazine together for the start of the season that hopefully you'll keep for the season. And it'll also have information in there, especially about the Becky Sutton Award, about obviously Dennis Cox, about Howard Dalton as well, because the Wagon Master Shield has now been changed to Howard Dalton. Now again, to a lot of the members, including myself, Howard Dalton was before my time, so I'm looking forward to Jolly Jim's putting a section together for that as well. So I'll learn a bit about him. So instead of it just being, at the moment, it's been Wagon Master Trophy, and it was like there's a company who sponsored it years ago. They were part of the club, no idea. Whereas now it'll be Howard Dalton. He raced in the club. He had the Outrage Speedster. And we'll have a few more bits of information. Hopefully this magazine, people will have it and they'll learn it. So that's one of our plans for this year, is definitely to work on that and to get more people to know some of the history of the club. I know that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that came really out of the blue to me on a night where we were having another mare, in all fairness. I think it was a clutch swap that night. And then someone come round when we had it all in bits all over the floor. Again, guy in there doing his bit.
The good thing is he's skinny, he fits.
Yeah.
It was the same as when I blew the engine, though. I'll be brutally honest with you. By the time I come back with yourself, he had it out and stripped and ready, which is like I say, I mean, to him, his brother, so Jay, Guy, Lee Foley, Bruce, just I wouldn't have got through this season or learned anything about this season if it hadn't been for the people giving advice, whether it was pro or sportsman. I found myself a lot of the time in the pro pits talking to the guys there, and they were like just leading me through and teaching me how to get on and how the things to do, I suppose. And really, in a lot of senses, I kind of started off in the first 3 meetings of last year. It was terrible. I didn't qualify, didn't get through qualifiers or anything. Didn't get the first round without getting knocked out.
You get used to it.
And I suppose really, after we blew the engine and dialed it back a little bit, things changed.
Yeah.
And I know, okay, it's about speed, but it's also about being consistent. And it was that learning that consistency piece and realising, not chasing all the time, and that's basically what brought me the places.
That can also be the downside of nitrous. Nitrous can be generally quite inconsistent because you're not just putting that shot of nitrous in. You've got to make sure the bottle pressure's right. You've got to make sure the temperature's right. And they're all little bits of criteria. You can make sure that bottle pressure's perfect. You leave the pits, you go down, someone does an oil down, you're sitting in the pairing lanes. Before you know it, you're sitting there going, my bottle pressure's completely gone. What am I going to dial? Yeah. So it's one of those. So when you took that away and just went normally aspirated, it definitely can make it a lot easier. Although obviously you want the nitrous tester. Just to perk it up.
A bit of speed and a bit of fun, but I don't miss the looking out the back window and seeing the plume of blue smoke and turning it into a V5, I suppose. But yeah,
That's it.
you know,
What you can do
my
with the
V5
nitrous,
loved
what you can do with the nitrous is you have it as a backup.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the season, I had it so that if I did miss a gear or anything like that, hit the nitrous and I'd be like, catch you up.
Yeah, that was exactly what I've been using it for. Was if I made a mistake physically, then I can also get myself back in it, type thing. So, and just not overstepping it and kind of pushing in every gear. So, but yeah, I mean, it towards the end of the season, as you saw, it all tied up and it all worked out, and finished a really good 6th place, which over the moon about, to be quite honest.
Yeah, you should be really proud of that, to be honest, Laurence, because that was a really tough season. You got a lot of new people who came into Sportsman, and I'll take my hat off to anyone who did anything really in Sportsman, getting any points on the board, because it was a really tough year. I think Pro it was also tough, but in terms of the Sportsman, there was a lot of new races that had come in, and by the middle of the season, I think most of the people in Sportsman, even the old hands at it, would go, hang on a minute, some of these new kids know what they're doing, and they were winning points left, right, and centre, and putting a bit of shockwaves.
Stuff and their lights, they're so tight on their lights and everything, and their time. So, coming from junior dragster, as a couple of them did, I think that it kind of like gets it up a little bit, basically.
I mean, distracted. Chairman Meow is somewhere scratching. I can hear it. Yeah, sorry. Obviously, so 6 last year, and as Charlie said, that was a tough year. We've got a few more junior dragsters joining in this year to sport.
Yes, I hear. Yeah.
Just to make it a little bit harder for you. So, what's your goals going to be this year? Are you going to be looking at the championship, or are you going to be thinking spreading your legs a little bit to go quicker?
No. My goal for this year is the championship. In all fairness, or it is at least above 6. I'd like. Yeah, I'm going to fight for the championship this year. I'm going to keep the car stock. I'm having it polybushed as we speak. It's going away for polybushing, and all underneath some engine mounts, which I see Aaron in the comments somewhere. I'm waiting for an answer back off of him for a couple of engine mounts. Well, I'll say an engine, but one engine mount, one dog bone mount, and I've got solid on the other side. Just shore it up and just make it a lot more solid, a lot more reliable. And then just basically go for the title. Landing myself a couple of really decent sponsors this year, or one very decent sponsor, and that kind of allows me to make sure I'm going to be there every day, every race meeting. I have got, although many people will say, a spare car sat there just in case as well, which is an 1800T.
It's always handy.
So just to split it a little bit, I've got a VR6 and an 1800T, so I can take part in both of the arguments at that point.
There's always that one disappointed child, don't worry.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where the V5 fits perfectly, because it's a VR, but it's a 20 valve, so it's literally both. So therefore, I can take the mickey out of everyone and still get away with it.
That's it. Now, obviously, Laurence, you said sponsors. Do you want to mention who you've got for this year?
I mean,
what they do?
Yeah, I picked up the same sponsor as last year, but more commitment to it, which was for Simon Long Removals, who I was working for last year, and since then have basically set up my own company with a couple of friends of mine. So we've got our own removal company as well, and we work directly for Simon.
Nice.
So I'll be able to pull a sponsorship out of that. And also Speedworth International, I get helps out with my clothing and bits and pieces. And I've also tried to help out some of the other guys in the club. And the guy who runs Speedworth International is actually looking to sponsor the club this year, because I know last year we tried to get him into it. It was all a little bit on the busy side.
No, that's it. I mean, contacted us like mid-season and is like, can we sponsor the club? I was like, as much as I'd love to take your money, we're kind of mid-season. We're already, I mean, I didn't want to say oversubscribed with sponsors, but we had a lot, and I felt it unfair to do it kind of mid-season. Whereas, like you just said, hopefully Speedworth is going to be in contact. Well, I'm going to be in contact with them soon to become an associate sponsor. And like you said, looking on their website today, they do helmets, they do race suits, they do the safety gear and stuff like that. And then they do normal car parts as well, being brake discs and...
Well, that's where all the Schrock hands devices came from as well.
Yeah.
But they also do car builds. They do chassis builds. I know they specialise in short circuit racing, but like he said as well, he doesn't mind diversifying. They also hold an awful lot of drag slicks as well. They've got a direct supply of drag slicks, so they're one to go to and have a chat with as well. And then also a friend of mine who runs a company called Sticker Pro in Norwich. He does all my graphics and bits and pieces for me as well, Andy. So yeah, done quite well, to be quite honest. It helps out because obviously it can be quite a costly sport. There's no doubt about it. But you know, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's going well, and I'm really happy with where I've got to this year. Like I say, just I'm trying to push it on for next year, and maybe, you know, like I say, a challenge for the title would be nice.
Nice. That's it. John Gallant says got to be getting raceware from Speedworth, so should sort him out. So there you go. Hopefully, get in contact with them. Obviously, maybe leave it a few days until we get the sponsorship sorted, and then it looks like we made a sale. That's what it's all about.
On there quick.
That's it. Now, obviously, one of the changes that we made at the AGM for VW Sportsman was that you can go down to 12 flat. You feel that's helped you out quite a lot with not having to put a roll cage in for now?
Yeah. I have to say, in all fairness, because of like messing about with the speeds and the cars, especially mine, is very capable of going down to those speeds. If I get it right and get the nitrous set up and everything on it right, it will run down lower. So it kind of gives you a good lead into it at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned. And hopefully it'll allow people to actually get their cars down a little bit in speed. Not risk any safety wise, but you know, then move on. What you got there? I can't see.
Can't read that.
The light's bad. No, your light's bad. 12:22. 12:22. Mine's
fat.
13:3. I'm afraid to say at the moment, but you know that was. But yeah, I was only using a 60 shot at the time. I hear you guys were messing about with 100 and 110 shots on me at the time.
That was a 73. That was.
Was it?
Yeah, 73. We put the larger shot in, and that's what we broke it on.
Right.
Tell me how that works.
Yeah. I think we it was either a 73 or a 76, something like that. But then we jumped up at national finals. I was doing the test day before national finals, and I got the PB from like 12. Which is it? I did a 12.8 at Bitburg in Germany with it. And then we brought it to Sanderpod, and then the same setup going from exactly the same as what we ran in Bitburg, went down to like a 12.5, and then we put the next size jets in, that goes down to 12.2, and then it was getting to like 4:30, 4:45 on the Friday night of the test day, and I was like, I've got to run an 11, I've got to run an 11, put the next set of jets in, and basically killed the motor, although it didn't kill the motor racing it. I killed the motor with the the guys in the comments will probably remember it. We made a toggle switch with a block of wood and screwed that to the floor. And then what I did was I hit it, and it basically the wood had moved, and when I hit it, it bent the arming switch. Yeah. So that when I did the burnout, come out of the burnout, armed the nitrous, and then all of a sudden the rev just went. I was like, "What's going on?" Turned everything off, and then basically just melted some piston rings. And it was just like, "Oh, whoops a daisy!" And then the next day, I was racing Ed, and I broke the gearbox. So after we did an all-nighter to change the gear, to change the engine, and then the second run the next day, I broke the gearbox. So then we did a gearbox swap, and then because basically I'd sold it at the end of that event. So no matter what, it had to be fixed. And then next day, I think I did like 1 or 2 rounds and then got knocked out and then sold it to Nathan. And then obviously he did like a season and a half. And then I was trying to buy it off him as cheap as possible. And then you just swept right in. Took it away from me.
But I now have a spare engine. After all of that, I've now got a spare engine to be built up, to be quite honest. And I think my next stage after this season, or during this season, I'd like to get it built up and get it built up strong. So that effectively it's not stock. And therefore I don't worry too much when I press the gas button. So that's really my plan with that, is to get that built up in the background and then have that sat there waiting, and then roll it into the fact that that car hopefully should be able to do some pro times in it. So.
Nice.
What I'm hearing is Turbo VR6. That's what I'm hearing right now.
So there is that option. Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, boy.
You're building the engine, you might as well throw a turbo on.
Yeah. That's it, huh? I've got some ARP flywheel bolts for sale if you want them. It's much of an upgrade. But
Luke's shop then.
Yeah, that's it. Bring it to my shop. Don't worry. Jay, looking in the comments, we got Matthew C. Mark says, I've used Speedworth myself. Very good company to deal with. Jacob says, bear in mind that Luke has the mechanical sympathy of a sledgehammer on a drawing pin. It's true. It's true. Excuse me. When you've got a Vos, you can just break shit.
Yeah, he just fixes it all.
Love that boy. Love that boy. He's not for sale either. He keeps threatening that he's going to race. It ain't happening.
We probably spent about an hour on the phone at a time. Because I don't know if anyone was aware, but when the car was first bought, I didn't have anywhere to store it. My son stored it outside mine, and someone, some lovely person, decided to drop a lit rag down the front of where the scuttle panel was, but obviously wasn't, and set fire to it. So I actually rewired it, and I did it over the phone with the aid of Handy Vos, and cut both ends, and literally spliced in a new wiring loom over the phone with him. And first turn of the key, and it went like, So
he's a good egg, that lad. He's a good egg.
He knows his bits. That's definite for sure. That is, I'll tell you. Wouldn't mind a Vos, but like I say, with the other lads, I can't fault them. Absolutely can't fault the fact that they're always there. It don't matter whether it's day, night, whatever. They're in amongst it. Yeah, and mending bits.
But everyone, bunch of heroes in this club. Bunch of heroes. Yeah. Well, would you believe it? We've done 55 minutes. We're not going to finish there because we're going to do, because I'm on my own, we're going to do news in brief. Do you know, I was going to take a photo of me in some pants at the table.
I'm sure there's
news
one
in
about.
brief. No, that's it. Well, so obviously, with this new show, obviously, we've got extra things to add in every other week. Normally, I'd have Paul with me to discuss these sort of things, but some of the stuff that's popped up over the fortnight, I'll probably bring in and just chat about. And obviously, while I've got you two here, we can chat about some of these. I don't know, a few people saw this photo this week. What do you think of this?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I also follow the turbo bugs, and that looks a bit on the wide side, really. But,
it is. So basically, this is Ian Dance's Cabriolet. It's fully caged, R&J Motorsport by Rob. He's fitted I think it's, someone will say it in the comments, it's a Lincoln V8 front wheel drive. And then he's gone for, I can't remember, I haven't got the figures, but they're like a 15-inch wide slick on the front. They're like huge.
So
when he uploaded that first photo without the wings done, I was just like, you're never going to turn. Never.
That's a very...
After you uploaded those photos, I love that.
He's definitely got a wider trailer than I have, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the point. That's
the narrowest trailer.
Oh, in fact, no. He bought Colin Miller's truck.
All right.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be going in the back of that truck. I think that's been all de-stickered. Jacob Bailey says it's a Lone Star V8. Whatever that is, I have no idea. It's just a big old V8 in the front. I've never seen a V8 front wheel drive, so I'm excited to see this.
No, that's it's an interesting one.
it's going to be quite interesting because originally he was going a big TDI power motor. He bought like turbo, cams, pistons and everything from Luis at Skiller Turbo. And then obviously COVID hit and he bought that V8 and then has gone, do you know what? I'm going to make a front wheel drive V8. This is going to be a bit of a laugh. No, Jacob says Lone Star. Carl says it's a North Star, dear.
Yeah,
some sort of star.
So is that going to be like? Is that going to be how like the PFI Speed have their like bully, where the engine's going to be in front? Have you seen that at all on YouTube? Where they've got it, where it's like a full pro door slammer, and the engine sits in front of it, and it's like a transaxle, almost like what you'd get on a Porsche, but the other way around. For the gearbox, or do you know any details?
I haven't got the photo, but the engine is now set horizontal.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
it's like the like a Vectra V6 sort of thing. That it's set like that. Yeah, that's exactly how he's done it.
Oh wow! I'll have to look into those photos. That's good.
We'll go to Dancy's. I think it's Dancy's Cabriolet. I think it is on Facebook. Just put Dancy's Cabriolet or something like that on Facebook, and you'll see the photos of the build. It's really really cool. Graham Freeman says V8s in a bug is the future. John Marku says LS4 was front wheel drive. Oh, there you go. Well,
didn't know that.
Other stuff that we got this week. Obviously, we've got some proper. I mean, we've got talented people electrical wise, but in the past 2 weeks, these guys have been smashing it out. Mike Whitaker with his carbon doors for his Mark 1 caddy, his 9-second caddy. Obviously, was like, do you know what? I can't buy them, so I'll make them. I think they're pretty good. And then obviously we've seen Sean Allen doing his winter project. He's on version 4 of the door molds for the Mark II Golf. I think both of these guys have literally gone. They've done the doors, and people have gone, "Are these for sale?" And they're like, "No." No, it's taken so long and so much effort. You never know. I mean, they might sell the molds on to someone else at some point. I know Craig at Extreme Fiber has been doing amazing work. Obviously, everyone probably saw Rob Carter's Passat the other week, where he'd done the front end for that. So that's looking good.
That's something I'd like to look into, to be quite honest, to lose a bit of weight out of the Beta, is some fiberglass, fiberglass stroke. Something a lot lighter, tailgate doors, basically.
Well, I think the main
window weighs an absolute ton.
Yeah, I mean the main cost is obviously getting the mold done, because I have seen in America you can actually get fiberglass and carbon fiber panels for your car already. So do check that out, because by the time you do make it, although it does seem a lot getting it shipped. Yeah. By the time you do it, you were like, do you know what, that's so much hassle when I can just buy a product that I know that's good straight away.
Yeah, definitely.
Other cars we saw, Christmas, I think it was 2 days after Christmas, we actually created this, and we spoke to John Mills and Phil Unsworth from Team NDA. John Mills did not unveil this to us. Another one of our air-cooled racers who has gone ginormous turbo. I'm looking forward to seeing that oval back out on the strip this year. John had a terrible season last year with that oil gallery that kept blocking up, all on NDA Drag Racing. You can find out about that. But I'm looking forward to seeing another Turbo Beetle in VW Pro. Talking about Turbo Beetles, Chris Poyner picked up the Green Goblin. Now, do you recognise that car?
Beautiful car.
It is. And obviously that car's been raced in the VWDRC for so long. Well, it hasn't been raced in the VWDRC for a while. I don't know if you can remember the old Sonic Bug, which is obviously that car back from like in the 90s, I think, early 2000s, 90s it might have been, but it used to have Sonic the Hedgehog down the side. So it's awesome to have that back in the club. Obviously, it's got a new driver.
There's been a lot of revivals of older cars coming out this year. Yeah. And lots more talk of older cars and bits and pieces like that. So nice to see.
That's it. Honest. It is good. It is good. I'm looking forward to seeing all those. I mean, air-cooled wise next year, there is a lot of vehicles coming back. We've got a lot of new members. So hopefully any of the new members that have been watching these live streams, hopefully you've been enjoying them and getting to know a few of our racers. Hopefully now when we talk about Charlie Roberts and Laurence Clark, you'll be like, yeah, I know exactly who those people are, and that's essentially what this show is about. I can't skip before we go. Obviously, this car.
Yeah, that's worth a lot.
That is a machine. Isn't it?
I mean, can you remember Sean Hyde's original Raging Roman, Lawrence? Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't. No.
So that was like a normal Beetle with the engine in the back, had the Subaru engine, and then basically did what everyone with Subarus was like, why are you doing this? And he was like, turbo, be gone. ECU, be gone. Literally put top fuel motorcycle supercharger on it, runs it on methanol, milled it, put a distributor in there, set it up, and it sounded like a funny car, didn't it? When he's just sitting there hunting, it'd be round the corner and it'd be like vroom, 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 and you're like, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then this Beetle would just like an awesome looking Beetle. I mean, Bruce at WRP Paint and Restoration did the paint on it. It was all stickered up, the Raging Roman. It was absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, he had a top end incident when it was GTI Festival, probably about 5 years ago now. Went through the top end, pulled the parachute, and we had a crosswind. So literally, it just got the parachute and just pulled the car over into the wall. And basically, Sean was just like, do you know what? Engine in the back, not for me. He was like, I'm just going to build basically it's basically a Pro Mod with a Liberty gearbox with the Subaru motor in the front. Now just a few little bit of changes. I think they've got some more power out of it, and then they've got the body from Andy Raw's funny car. So it is basically a Pro Mod. It's basically a funny car, and they're going to cut the doors so they open.
Yeah,
and to make it a door slammer.
Yeah.
Right. Steve Mello says, is Black Currant back this year? Yes, they are indeed. Hopefully we're going to be seeing them on the show pretty soon. But gentlemen, we have surpassed the hour mark. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully everybody that has been watching has enjoyed it. Like I said, we might be back next Monday. If not, we'll do the normal fortnightly. It'll be depending on who wants to come on the show. If we get someone lined up real quick, we'll basically get them in for next week. Just a reminder again, this evening at midnight, your 2021 memberships run out. If you haven't done your renewal, then I shall be going through and basically blocking your access to the forum and to the VWDRC private Facebook group. Don't message in the morning and go, I'm still here, because I'll be honest, I wouldn't have done it by then, because I'll be in bed. It's just, at some point, I will cut you off. It's just, I really don't want to have to. Abby's already sent me a message of all the people that signed up, which is nearly almost everyone. So again, thank you very much to everyone that signed up. Gentlemen, you've been brilliant. Hopefully everyone that's been watching these shows, hopefully each week they're going to get better and better as we learn more stuff with the live streaming, and as me and Paul kind of get more used to doing this, and we'll keep it going throughout the season. Like I said, once we get to the race season, whoever wins a race event, we'll probably have them on maybe the day after. We'll chat about the racing. So yeah, again, if you have got your Facebook, please share VWDRC TV, our YouTube channel. We really need to get that building. We've got like 300 and something, but I need way more. Charlie, we'll finish it off, obviously. I'll try and do this. Obviously, I'm Luke Stevenson, or EFWD Luke on Instagram. If you type in EFWD Luke on Facebook, it should take you to my Facebook work page, because Luke Stevenson Media and Motorsport was too much of a mouthful, and I was like, okay, I'll just change it to Luke Stevenson. But now it looks like an arsehole because I have two Luke Stevensons. And they were like, we don't care. We want you to have this. So I was like, I'll do that. But yeah, so if you haven't already followed EFWD Luke on Instagram and Luke Stevenson on Facebook, please do so. Charlie, you've got a couple of socials because you do a damn fine work with your YouTube videos. And I appreciate that. Yeah. I say to anyone of the club, just make some videos. Doesn't matter if you think it and go, this is boring. People watch it.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, actually. Mine seems to have been getting on a bit of a spell recently. My dynos videos hit like over 15,000 views, which is mad, especially since the Mighty Car Mods have had a Volkswagen up on their page, and so many times I'm scrolling through a feed and someone's commented the link to my video on there, and I'm just like, well, this is weird. Anything you can find me is Taylord_official. I've got that on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and just try and put out content. Sometimes, like you say, sometimes I feel like it's boring and I'm just sort of fluffing with it. But at the end of the day, someone will be looking at it, and at least one person will watch it, and it's worth getting that out there when any changes happen.
That's it. Lawrence, you got any socials you want to plug out there?
I've just got my little Facebook page on the side of mine, which is Thunderbug454. It goes out on Facebook and Instagram. Within the next couple of weeks, I've got a new young man coming on board to do all my media and also help me out in the pits. So,
God, look at this. He's changed. He's got all his sponsorship. Now he's got employees to do.
No, it's not an
media.
He's my nephew, but he's really good at social media and all the rest of the stuff. And he also wants to get into the crewing. So I said, we'll come down over the weekends, and we'll sort out. He's from up north, but he said
top tip for him as a crew man. If you need to do a gearbox change, you have to find the nearest puddle and make sure you park in it before you start changing the gearbox.
I will do that.
See, at least I'm nice. I put out matting and everything for my boats. I put a tent on top of him to keep him warm. I bring him drinks and everything.
I got one of those lovely big blue VW mats, and I laid it out and said to Brucey when he was changing the clutch, I was like, I'll lay on that. He went, no, I'll get oil and grease on it. Don't worry, I'll just lay on the floor instead.
That's it.
Yeah, Goose used to do that with his trailer. That's now Lee Corderly's. Whenever we used to have to unload it, he used to conveniently come at night, so I couldn't see anything, and then park in the puddle, so I had to lay in it to get the ramps out conveniently. So,
yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, again, thank you very much for watching VWDRC TV episode number 3. VWDRC Facebook, Instagram, VWDRC TV on YouTube. Like them, subscribe to them, share them. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We shall see you all next week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.